Choosing to build a life that actually feels aligned comes with a cost that not a lot of people talk about. And it's not the money or the stability or the risk. It is the identity you have to leave behind to build this new life in alignment. A few months ago, I wrote a question in my journal that has changed how I look at growth and identity, especially as I come into this next phase. This question was quintessential for reevaluating my identity and what I find to be important. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Jenna. I write and talk about identity, creativity, and what it looks like to build a life in alignment. So let's rewind to that strange period between Christmas and New Year's where everything feels fake. There is no direction. You simply are just floating and existing and hoping your best for the new year. It was December 29th when I wrote down this question. What version of me cannot come with me if I want to reach the next level? At the time, I was waiting to hear back about a job. That twilight zone between Christmas and New Year's, nothing's happening. We're floating into the void, and I was spiraling, waiting on this job offer to save me. It felt like it was going to be my exit plan. It felt like it was going to be the thing to save me from my circumstances and to push me into the next chapter in January. So one of these nights on December 29th, before the new year, I'd been doing a lot of my end of year reflections, and I started writing honestly, without judgment. I often find that we sometimes need this space to list what our honest truth is, to see what comes out, to see how we really feel if we're being honest with ourselves outside of our circumstances, outside of what people want for us or from us. And this question, what version of me cannot come with me if I want to reach the next level? It's all identity based. It's not goals or plans. It is the version of you that you've been holding on to that maybe felt safe, that's also keeping you a little small. For me, this was the version of me that loses sleep over a job cannot come with me. The version of me that lacks discipline and focus cannot come with me. The version of me spending my time with low energy people and situations cannot come with me. The version of me putting up with lackluster projects cannot come with me. Of course, writing these things down and then actualizing them are two different things. And at the time, it also hadn't fully set in what was coming next because I was still waiting on that job offer. I still believed that the thing between me and opportunity, between me and the next chapter of my life, was a job offer. But a few weeks into January, the job offer never came. And instead of being upset or disappointed, I was kind of relieved because I knew that ultimately it was kind of a distraction from what I needed to be doing. That moment forced me to accept something that I had been avoiding. I was giving my power away to the recruiters of the world, hoping that someone would save me. But if I want to change my life, I have to be the person to build it. It's like Harry Styles just did that interview with Murakami, and he said, no one can run the marathon for you. No one can build your life for you. And the vision and the way that I see it, that doesn't come through a job. That comes through me building. Now, around this time, something interesting happened, and I'll chalk it up to divine timing. I had the opportunity to enter a giveaway hosted by Stan, awarding one dreamer $100,000 to go all in on their dream business for the year 2026. The only requirement was that you post a video naming your dream. And I almost didn't do it because naming your dream out loud, where people can see you and hear you, is pretty terrifying. It's one thing to have your dream in your head, but to talk about it out loud and sound like you believe that you can actually do it, that's scary because sometimes we have the dream and we don't always have the belief. It felt almost crazy to think, why would I enter this contest? Who am I to say that my dream is worth $100,000? Who am I to be able to accept that money? And what would I even do with it? And there's a million questions from there. What would I even do with it? What do I do with my time? What comes next? How do I even build this? And those are all questions preventing you from doing the thing. Who am I to think I could actually do that? And that's exactly the point. Everything around us started because somebody believed they could do it. I love to come back to this example, but for some reason, Lady Gaga always stands out in my head. The reason she is who she is because she believed with conviction that she was Lady Gaga and that she was capable of performing and creating art on this world stage. And I used to think she was lucky. Any pop star was lucky for being in that position. But really, it comes down to conviction, preparation, and timing. If anyone else can build their dream, what makes me any less capable of building my dream? So I made the video. I said my dream out loud to be a New York Times bestselling author, to speak on stages, to travel the world, to help others in the process actualize their own dreams. And something shifted when I said it. Not because of the money or the plan, but because I crossed this identity threshold. I was finally owning up to this image in my head. I was finally saying with conviction, I was finally saying with full belief that I am capable of doing this, and I was saying it out loud to be received by others. So if I had to ask this question again, what version of me cannot come with me into the next level? The answer is the version of me with one foot in the door cannot come with me. I have to be all in. I have to be fully committed to this thing. One foot out, you're not going to make it happen because you're already planning on plan B. This experience didn't just show me what I was capable of, it showed me the person that I wanted to be. It was a spark for the self belief. This was such a huge identity shift that happened in January. And the larger context of this was coming into the new year and resetting my goals and looking at what I wanted to happen this year. And I chose not to rush through the winter because a lot of us are pressured to set these big goals on January 1st, and either we don't keep them, we fall off, or they're unclear and they're ungrounded. And I said, I'm not doing that. I wrote a whole Substack essay about how I was moving slow with intention through the winter until spring. Winter was my research and development phase. It was the phase of exploration to see what was going to stick, to see what I liked, and to see what I didn't like. And that job offer, me waiting on someone else to give me my power in a job, that was the research project. And the conclusion was that I could no longer do that. The conclusion is that I needed to take back my own power. All of these were experiments in pushing myself slightly out of my comfort zone, the naming my dream out loud. In the big picture, posting a video really small. And it expanded my belief in myself more than I thought it would. Every experiment is a chance to expand your identity, to expand your comfort zone just a little bit more and move you closer to alignment. And as you grow in this process, it requires you to leave behind certain pieces of yourself. That was the piece of myself that had one foot in the door. That was the piece of myself that craved stability because it's seemingly safer in the short term. But is it any safer? Is it any safer in the long term? What's to say that building my own world, building my own business isn't safer in the long term? The version of me who could not come with me in the next level is waiting for someone else to give them an opportunity. And I think really this is where people get stuck. It's not because they don't have dreams. It's not because they're not capable of acting. It's because they overthink and get stuck in safety and comfort and complacency. They're afraid of shedding the identity that's familiar in order to grow into your new identity. But what's to say that new identity isn't just as safe and comfortable? There's always going to be a long list of reasons not to change. What if it's not the right choice? What if I hate it? What if I fail? What if something better is waiting? And as I wrote my list on December 29th, I could say I was one of those people too. I was waiting for the opportunity. And at the time, I couldn't accept that I was capable of building my own opportunity. I was afraid of the short term financial instability. I was afraid that maybe I would amount to nothing. And ultimately, I was waiting on permission to succeed. No one is going to give you permission to succeed. One of my readers and dear internet friends commented on my last Substack essay, how did you let go of plan B? When was the nail in the coffin of there's no plan B? And this question caught me off guard. It's a great question. And I didn't even realize that I have let go of plan B. Plan B is the stable job, the safe job, the 9 to 5. But something big had shifted because my honest answer to that question and my gut reaction is I can't even see plan B. My vision is so focused on the plan ahead of me that all that matters is the next step. All that matters is taking inspired action in the direction ahead of me. Whatever comes will lead me to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. There's no failure because it's all learnings and redirection. It's almost as if you're still considering a plan B. That means you're walking in circles. And being able to say with confidence that I can't even see plan B tells me that I'm walking confidently in the direction of my dreams. Because no one's going to give you permission to succeed, but you can create your own success. It is about your willingness to let go of the identity that's afraid of that and that's still considering plan B, and to step into the identity of that successful version of you. So, where I am now, I consider these past few months of winter as research. It was my research and development period, it was the experimentation. And now, as we step into springtime and we have the spring equinox on March 20th, I've been treating that as the proper new year. Spring beckons for us to move forward with confidence and direction. It is integrating winter's lessons into our spring intention. And for me, that is becoming the person who says yes to work that excites me. I am the person who prioritizes sleep and takes care of my body. I am the person who is surrounded by values aligned friends and relationships and mentors and community. I am the person who shows up online authentically and who builds towards my dreams with courage. I am choosing to be the person I want to be and letting go of the identity that keeps me small. If you're in a season where you're looking to change your life and you so feel inspired by spring as well, here's the question I would invite yourself to ask. What version of you cannot come with you into this next chapter? Because choosing to build a life in alignment will cost you your old identity that built your current one. As always, thank you for being here. If you'd like more of this, I write about it on Substack and YouTube weekly, as well as my other social channels. If you would like to go deeper with journaling prompts as we move into the spring, I created a guided journaling companion. This is the Spring Alignment Workbook, walking you through questions like this. Where are you now? What have you learned through winter? Where do you want to go in the spring? I'll have it linked down below if you'd like to check out the Spring Alignment Journaling Companion. And if you're in New York City and you're seeing this in time, I am hosting my first in-person event on March 26th. This is a salon for creatives in designing your next chapter. I'll have that linked below as well if you would like to join in New York City. If you're not in New York, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll let you know if any possibilities come up with an online version of this. Until next time,